let's create a watermark plugin like this one here, where we can move this image or watermark any position and we can change the image to our liking. So let's start to look how to create our watermark plugin for Chart.js 4. First of all, border template that we need, you can find it here on chartjs3.com, getting started. Scroll down and copy this link here. By the way, if you want to support my channel, check out my Patreon here, where you can find every source code of my videos. So what I want to do now is I want to create the item, but to do that we need to create a custom plugin, and I have the file here ready, which is just a blank file here, and right now it's just stored on my item here or on my documents folder. So what I want to do here is to create the object. So I'm going to say a constant object will be the watermark plugin, and then this will be equal to, and then I'm going to say here the ID, and the ID will be, you can give it here the watermark, or maybe watermark plugin sounds a bit more logical, it's more descriptive. So I'm going to grab that. Next, what I want to do is I want to decide when to draw the item. So I'm going to say here I want to do this before the data sets draw. So what I'm going to do here, make sure we have a colon here, and then what I want to do here is get the chart object. I want to have the arcs, and I have the plugins. So then here a function error expression, because this is a callback functionality. Once we have this, we're going to create here our image. So we want to have our image, and the image can be constant. We're going to say image equals, and we're going to create a new image object. Of course, the question is, what is the image we're going to use, or how do we make sure that the user can control their image? Well, I'm going to show you that. So the first thing what I want to do here is I'm going to say image.source equals, and then we have to put in here a URL. So if I save this one, of course, refresh, nothing happens yet, and we're going to get just a quick image. So to get the quick image, I just open up here in a browser chartjs.org, and I'm going to grab here the official logo. So I'm going to copy this image address, and then what I'm going to do is put that in here. So this would mean that if I load this specific image object. So once we have this, what I want to do now is start to draw the item. I'm going to say here, oh, before we even start to draw it, I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to have here an object destructuring. So if you don't know what is object destructuring, I'm going to recommend you with videos in the description box, which is, as I said, in Chart.js, object destructuring. I want to get here the CTX, I want to get the chart area, and this is also in the description box that explains what this does. Say top, bottom, left, right, width, and height should be more than sufficient. So next, what I want to do here is I want to put in now the image, or I want to draw the image. I'm going to say ctx.save to save all variables above, first of all, so we have a reset structuring, or reset here after we're done doing our customization. Next, I'm going to say here ctx.drawImage. And then in here, I'm going to grab here this image source, which is basically the constant of image, which is our image object. So I can say here, the first one would be the image reference. The second one would be basically the, this is the position, where you have the X coordinate position and the Y coordinate position. And then we have the image width and the image height. So for now, what I will do is I'll just make it very simple and make this 30 pixels because it's a small rectangle item. Of course, later on, I want to make sure that this will be customizable for the user. So then we have here this part. Of course, here we have the chart area. For now, I can use here for the Y. I can get the top, and then I want to the X replaced with left. So if I save this, or before we do that, ctx.restore. So after this, I want to restore everything. So once I refresh, nothing happens. Why nothing happens? Of course, we didn't connect this one. Remember, this is an independent file. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this file, copy this, put it in there. Then what I want to do is I want to get the URL of that one. That's this here. For in my case, of course. In your case, just check where you store the file location or the file name. So there we are. I'm going to put it in there. If I save this, refresh, and nothing happens. The reason why nothing happens here is we didn't register it. So I'm going to scroll down here and I'm going to create here a chart, which is the main chart object. But this also means pay attention because this is capital C, it will mean that every chart will get this plugin. If you don't want that, maybe you have 2 charts, you don't want to have an individual one, I'll show you later on. So then what I'm going to say here, register, and I'm going to register the item. And this is very important. Here we have the Watermark plugin, and that's different from the ID, but I'm going to show you later on what how that works. So once we have this, and if I save this, refresh, you can see here now we have our nice watermark image here. Beautiful. But I'm not satisfied with this. And the reason why I'm not satisfied with this is maybe I want to push it to the right side, bottom, or even have a bigger image. So how can we control this? Or, because here we had it hard-coded, you can imagine, you say, well, what about if my user doesn't have anything? Well, you can do it like this, refresh, and then we'll just get the default size of it. Alright, so that's the first thing. So let's start to customize and just do some more advanced professional items on this. So first of all, before I even go ahead, if you don't want to apply to every chart, then you have to do here comma, you're going to say here plugins, bracket, and then you just do it like that. If you save this, refresh, it still works now, of course, but now it will work only on this chart. If you have another chart, then you will see it will not work. So that's the most important one to remember, but for now I just like to register it on every chart because we want to brand our charts. Alright, so what I want to do is, you can imagine, I want to change maybe the size of these images because I want to control that. Next, I would like to have this not only here, but maybe I want to have it on the right side or right bottom or left bottom. Let's control all of these items. So to do that, what we need to do here is look at this specific item. It's called the ID here. And I'll give it the Watermark plugin, but I could give it another name. If this is a different name, you will see the differences of it. So that's probably a better way to learn. So what I'm going to do is, you have the scale, comma, I'm going to say here Watermark. So not Watermark plugin, because we're not registering the plugin, which is the object name. No, now we're going to refer to the ID. Very important difference. This is the reason why I just use a different term, but I do like here maybe the plugin name or something more descriptive, because Watermark is, well, it could have just something extra. Anyway, so now we have this. So what I want to do here is the following. I want to have some options, and one of the options would be, I would like to have, oh, before I even do this, my bad, I'm getting ahead of myself. It should be like this, plugins, and in the plugins, I want to say here, Watermark. This is very important, so watch out what I just said. Make sure you have a plugin object as well in here. So then, what I want to do here is, for example, I want to have the option for positioning it to the left or right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say here, what will be the best term? I guess say position. And then in the position, we will have here the left side, or maybe not even left. We don't want to do this because we want to give you, as the user, the option to say left or right. So what would be here more descriptive would be horizontal positioning or horizontal. For now, horizontal. And then you have read many of these documentations. This is basically what we're doing here. And we can say here, for example, left. And then what I want another one is not horizontal, but vertical. Or maybe the Y position. You can choose that one. I'll just put this on top here. So if I save this, of course, right now nothing happens. So we need to build this here. So how do we build this? Well, first of all, we must make sure we recognize these items here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create here a constant. And this is very important because this here is a string value. And this left, we want to eventually convert it into this variable here, so that we could say here left, and this could be bottom. If you do bottom here, save, and let's comment out this. You understand what I mean. Bottom, you can see it here. Of course, you need to push up a little bit, so there's some formula we have to work on. So, but as you can see here, there are options here, but since this one here is a string value, we need to convert that from a string into the variable here, that whatever this represents. So how to do this? Well, I'm going to create here basically a object. I'll call the position map. And in here, I will have here left. So if we're going to get left, we're going to refer that to left, but this left is the left of the variable, and this left here is the left of the string that we use in here. Very important to understand this. So the same here, we're going to do right, and this will be right, and we can say here bottom, and put this on bottom, and then we have here top, and put this on top, top of course. There we are. So now we have this part. So what I want to do now is the following. I want to grab the value that we have in here. So how to do this? Well, we're going to say here constant, and we're going to say here horizontal will be equal to. And then how do we grab that one is, well, let's look at it. You can see here it goes from position to horizontal. So to get that, we get here first the plugins dot, and then we don't have to use the ID name of Watermark because this ID has already been created, and it understands this direct connection. So we're going to say here will be equal to, let me double check, position dot horizontal. So by doing this, if I do here now console log, we should see here now, if I say horizontal, save, refresh, open up developer tab, you can see here it's a string value of left. So it is not the left of the variable, because if I copy this and put it in here, it will not work. If I do this one on top, you will see it just doesn't show. There we are, doesn't show. So what I want to do now is to make sure that this is understood. How do we make this understandable? Well, what we have to do here is get this position map, put it in here. Then what we're going to do here, we're going to put in here a bracket to make sure that whatever we select here, this value will be eventually here. So if we select left or right, these values are being understood. So we're going to save that, and now if I do that, it works. So if I change this, let's say right, and then you will not see it here, and the reason why you don't see it is because this right side would be outside of the area here. So if I say here minus 50 pixels for now, you can see here now it shows a glimpse of it. Alright, so we have some items to fix here. However, we've solved one of the complex items right now. So next what I want to do then is, of course, we do another one. We want to make sure that this is the vertical. And the vertical will be here, copy that on the vertical, and then we can say a vertical put in here, and let's remove this, save that, refresh. Alright, so let's say here, if I put in the bottom, save, refresh, it doesn't show of course because I need to still deduct there the item, but you can see here it works, and if I say here again top, save, refresh, it goes up. Alright, so we have some work to do here, so I'm going to start working on that. So now we have done one of the most important ones. So far this part is done, but I'm not satisfied with the remaining here because we have here this item. So there's two options. First of all, I want to give the user the control to give it a height and a width. So I'm going to say here width, and we can put in here, let's put in 30 pixels, and then we say height 30 pixels as well. So if I save this one, and then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to remove this. I'm going to control this here. So the image width and image height are in here. So what I'm going to do now is just create another constant. And this constant we will call this the image width equals plugins dot. And then we're going to look at it. Where do we have to go? To the width. Dot width. That's it. And then we can do the same one, but then for the image height. I'm going to do this. Height. And then we just copy that. Oh, well, that's more than enough. If I save this, refresh. Alright, there we are. So this starts to work. However, what happens if someone says, well, I don't have these. I don't know even the items. I don't want it. I have my image already fixed, uploaded. Oh, we forgot even to put in the image here. So we have to do that one as well. And as you can see here, it disappears. Alright, so what I want to do here, first of all, I guess here we should have the image URL. So I'm going to say here, URL. Let's make that one here. or watermark URL. I guess we'll just do it like that. So then what I want to do here, just same story, and let's put it here up. I'm going to say constant. I'm going to say here water. Should we use this? I guess the image. Oh, of course, my bad. We don't have to do it like that because we have it here. So the only thing what I do want is I want to have a logical statement here. So we have here the URL, and the URL will be equal to URL, which is plugins.url, or whatever we have here if no one gives us a link. So I probably have to test it later on with another file, but if I refresh this, alright, we have here a non-working one. So let me double check. We have this. Oh, of course. So the reason why it doesn't work so far is because of our image here. We could say here equals 30 and here equals 30. If I do this, we should see here something. Alright, so this starts to work nicely. So what I want to do next is this, of course, I don't want to have 30 here. I want to have the official height of the image that we have uploaded if we have the reference for it. So what I'm going to do here is just very simple. I'm going to grab here the image item. We're going to say image, or the image object, image dot width. And then we have here the width, and I have same for the image dot height. So now we have it in the full size. So what I want to do, of course, is I want to overwrite this size if we have a specified value. So if I save this, refresh, now it's being overwritten and it has specified value. So next what I want to do is if I go to the right side, you know it will jump out of the chart area or the canvas area. We have to solve this. So how do we solve this item? Well, the real issue here is it's basically the image. The image goes outside here. So what we have to do is we have to deduct the amount of pixels of the image size or the width of the image. So it will push it more to the left. So that's what we're going to do here. So what I want to do here now is to create this item here. We have the image width and this, the horizontal. What I'm going to do here. Let's see here. We will have to check. Oh, of course, we can do it here on the right side because the issue was on the right side. So I'm going to say here minus. And then we have here image width. And what we have to do, of course, this needs to move down because these are being declared first. And afterwards, we will declare this. So this reference here is understood. So if I do this, alright, nothing happens here. But now, if I say, it is positioned to the right. Save that. Refresh. There we are. Oh, alright, what happened here? That is interesting. What happened here? Alright, so that works. I don't know what happened there sadly, but now it works fine. So that's the first one. Next, what I want to do is, what happened if I say here bottom? The bottom is here, but let's be honest, this is not desirable. I want to push it up here. So how do I push it up here? Same logic. What we're going to do here for the bottom, minus image height. Save, refresh. There we are, and there we have it. So now we have this one here, and what I want to test is, fine, test. If I put in here a different URL, will we get a different image? And the answer should be yes. So for this image, I just grabbed one here, the Zoom plugin image. Let's copy the image address. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it in here. So now I expect this one to be shown instead of the other one. So now go here. Let's refresh. Alright, interesting. So let's see here. Alright, eventually just took some time by reloading it. So just once you reload it, it probably had something in the cache, so it had to clear it up. Anyway, so then it works here nicely, as you can see here. This. So let me just hide this or remove this. Now we have this big one. Let's put it in here to the left side. There we are. Absolutely phenomenal. Now we have created our own plugin here that will work nicely on any chart. So we could create another one. So let me just duplicate this and you'll see immediately how this works. So let's copy this. going to put that in here. And remember, we have here the chart registered, so that will mean it will work on every chart right now. It will be instantly implemented. So I have to change here this to number 2, number 2, number 2. Then what I will do here is we have the plugin here. I'll just leave this as it is. Then we'll leave that as well. This config here should be number 2. This here data will be data number 2, but then of course here we're not allowed to use ES6 reference. Data number 2. This one must be like that. Well, this one is as how we have that here. Don't ask me why, it just somehow needs it like that. Anyway, once we did that, what I want to do here is I want to have another canvas. This canvas will be canvas number 2, and then I'll just change this to make it clear. I'll say this will be a line chart. Save that. Refresh. And as we do that, we have this one here and that one there. But what if I remove this? What I mean by that is, I will say I don't want this. I have no URL. Sorry. Give me the default. There we are. And then we get the default. Absolutely phenomenal. And we could change this, let's say. This one will be right. There we are. And now we have this working or something here. Or I guess the image here is trying to load many times. So we have to check regarding to that one, but it works nicely.